Most marketers think hitting six figures as a fractional CMO requires taking on a ton of clients or working nonstop, and it doesn't. You can hit six figures with one or two clients, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. A lot of marketers and new fractional CMOs assume that hitting six figures requires more clients, more hours, or a completely different level of experience than what they have right now. And if you've ever caught yourself thinking, I'm not the kind of person who can charge that much, or clients like that don't hire people like me, or six figures must require a massive list of clients, you are not alone. The truth is, six figures in this role is so much simpler than most people realize, and you can get there with one or two clients when you structure things the right way. In today's episode, we're unpacking why six figures feels out of reach for so many marketers and what's actually getting in the way, and the real, true fractional CMO model that makes this level of income far more accessible than you think. Today, you're going to learn the mindset blocks that keep marketers undercharging, the role clarity you need before premium pricing makes sense, how to actually attract high ticket clients, and the three simple paths to hitting six figures with a light client load. By the end, my goal is that you understand deep in your bones that this level of income is not a stretch or a fantasy, but it is possible for you and is a direct result of having the right systems and the right mindset in place to operate like a true fractional CMO. So let's dive in. Okay, before we get into the model itself, we need to talk about why it feels so out of reach in the first place. For a lot of marketers and new fractional CMOs, the biggest barrier is not skill, experience, or even the work itself. It's the mindset and beliefs we carry. Things like, that's not for me. I'm not the kind of person who can charge that much. No one would ever pay me that. High ticket clients are rare unicorns. I don't attract that caliber of business. I don't have enough experience. If you've ever thought any of that, you are not wrong for feeling that way. I've been there. You're human. It's so common. Most of us have spent our careers in environments that trained us to think small about our earning potential, when all you've ever seen are marketing roles with salary caps, or you've worked with clients maybe who want you to do everything for as little as possible. It makes sense that premium pricing or bigger opportunities feel unrealistic because it's not what you're used to. But here's what I want you to hear. These beliefs feel true because of what you've been exposed to and around, not because of what is actually possible for you. And today, I want you to notice where you've been limiting yourself with those beliefs and stay open to the possibility that you may have been operating from a smaller version of yourself and from these limiting beliefs. Because I'm going to show you why these thoughts don't hold up and what becomes possible when you start operating like a fractional CMO instead of a marketer who helps with marketing. So if you're listening today and thinking, that's nice, Jess, but that will never be me, I have been exactly where you're standing. So let me start with my story. When I first left corporate, my money goals were honestly pretty modest. My entire dream starting this business was, if I can replace my corporate income, I will feel like I've made it. That was my bar. I remember genuinely thinking, I will probably never out earn my husband. I really thought that the path to big money or making great money was something I could only do if I was the CMO at a really big brand, glued to my laptop, working around the clock. And I thought leaving corporate meant leaving that earning potential behind. And I was in a place where I was so burnt out and so over the hustle culture in corporate that I was okay with that. Fast forward to now, my reality is unrecognizable compared to what I thought was possible for me. And it actually makes me laugh looking back on that. In the best way. I can see how much I was limiting myself. Since I committed to the fractional CMO model, I have not had a month under $20,000 to $30,000. And I even crossed $1 million in revenue last year. I have out earned my husband every year since I started this business, and he has a great job. I still have moments regularly in my CFO meetings where I'm like, hang on, that was our income last month. I'm still adjusting to it. And the wild part is I am not working 70-hour weeks. I'm not chained to Slack and Zoom. I'm working about 25 hours a week. and staying really protective of my family time and my self-care and the things that light me up and bring joy to my life. I love this model, and I want to give you an example. We took the kids to Europe for about 3 weeks, and I still had a $50,000 month working a couple of hours here and there from a cafe. That used to sound like fantasy to me, and I honestly sometimes hesitate sharing this stuff because I feel like there's ick around sharing income online. And there's a lot of people doing it in a way that is like not aligned with my values and really is dishonest. But I share it because I want you to know it's possible for you. And I share this because I literally, unless I had started talking to other people about what they were charging, what they were making, I never would have thought this was possible for me. So that is why I share it. And I will say, my baseline has totally changed. Like these numbers are so normal to me now. So when I talk about money mindset and playing bigger, this is what I mean. I went from maybe I can match my corporate salary to building a business that supports my life, my family, and my nervous system and allows me to make way more money than I ever thought possible. And if you're thinking, must be nice, Jess, that will never be me, I want you to hear this because this did not happen because I became a different person. It happened because I finally understood the model and my worth. And after a lot of trial and error, and when I figured out how to step into this role properly, that's when things clicked for me. And that's what I want you to understand too. Okay, so let's talk about the role because what you do matters, but what you don't do in this role matters more. When I talk about this business being something that has allowed me to earn a lot of money and still have a spacious calendar, it's because of how I've structured my retainers with clients and because I have extreme clarity around what my role is and what it isn't. A fractional CMO is a strategic leader. You set direction, you make decisions, you define priorities, you drive outcomes. You are the head of the marketing function, even if you're part-time. So here's why this matters. You can only charge premium CMO level rates when you're doing premium CMO level work. The moment you slide into execution, writing emails, drafting social posts, building funnels, etc., you devalue yourself and collapse your pricing power. No one should pay or will pay $10,000 to $15,000 a month for that. Execution demands execution pricing, and there's a ceiling there. Leadership demands leadership pricing, which is why holding strong boundaries around your role is the foundation to making this model work and feel really good for you. So here's the next thing I want to talk about. There's a misconception that high ticket clients are these rare unicorns, that they're so hard to find. And they are not. Businesses at the right stage, meaning they have the right revenue, goals, teams, etc., they are actively looking for strategic marketing leadership, and they do not always want or need help with marketing. They want someone who can own the function, own the department, and drive results. These clients are everywhere. They're not in the same ecosystem as the undercharging marketer crowd or the clients you have probably been working with a lot of the time. You won't find them on Upwork. You're not going to find them in free Facebook groups. And you will not attract them with a freebie or a DIY course because that is not where they are at. You'll find them in different places. And some of the places I have personally found these clients are in high ticket masterminds that I have joined or been a part of, inside private founder groups, through referrals from other high-level clients or other high-level service providers, people that work with your types of clients, in communities where people are already investing in growth, in your network when you show up as a leader, and then on LinkedIn, where decision makers are really hiring. Really, it's about where are you looking for these people and how are you talking to them? So we want to make sure we're speaking to the client at the level that you want to work with, not the client who's coming to you with no budget. So thinking through how are we speaking about pain points and challenges and things like that. So these kinds of clients buy through feeling confident in your leadership and really understanding the value you're going to bring to them. They will not buy through a 5-day nurture sequence. That is not this kind of person. So this is where your positioning really becomes important. So ask yourself these questions. In my marketing, in my brand positioning, am I speaking to the high ticket client? Am I speaking to somebody who has a team? Am I speaking to someone who actually has revenue? Because you want revenue, you want clients who have a marketing budget so you can actually do something. Are you speaking to someone who values leadership? Or are you speaking to those early stage kind of chaotic clients who have no idea what they're doing? They're trying to get their business off the ground. They have no budget. They have no team. They have no idea what they're doing. If you speak to those people, that is who you will attract. Since day one in my business, I have always spoken to the 7-figure founder who has a team, who has revenue. They're not a sinking ship. I'm not the fix-it CMO. I'm talking to people who are succeeding and they have bigger goals to drive the business forward, and they really want someone to take the reins of marketing. Now that you understand who these clients are and how to position yourself, let's talk about the part that is really important here. The actual math to 6 figures. How are we getting there? So I'm going to break this down simply. There are 3 different paths you can take. Number 1 is 1 CMO client on retainer. Number 2 is a few advisory clients. And number 3 is a hybrid. So I'm going to break each of those down for you. Number 1, this is actually such an unlock. And when I realized this, I was so excited because unlike businesses, when you're doing something low ticket where it requires a really high volume of clients, imagine if you had 1 client paying you between $12,000 and $15,000 a month for your mind, your brain, your strategy on a part-time basis. That alone puts you in 6-figure territory. Path 2, now picture a few different clients paying you $2,000 to $4,000 a month for strategic guidance. Advisory packages are some of my favorites because they are so low touch and you end up making a great amount of money for the limited amount of time you're putting in with these clients. So again, even if you have a few clients at this level, you're not working a wild amount because you're on an advisory package, which is very limited. Then path 3, I would say this is the most common, and this is typically me and what a lot of my students have worked their way towards. 1 main retainer, 1 or 2, plus a handful of advisory clients. You can so easily get to multi 6 figures with this set of clients, still working part-time. I want to emphasize and underline that. You are not working crazy hours just because you have 3, 4, 5, 6 clients. When I hit $1 million in revenue, I had 4 big clients on retainer, and I had, I believe, it fluctuated throughout the year, but I had 6 to 8 on an advisory package. So it's really easy with this model to get to a super high number and still be working part-time. And that is what I love. I also want to be really clear when I share these numbers, these rates are not on the high end. I'm not telling you to charge the top of what fractional CMOs charge. This is really middle of the road, and they're not celebrity rates. Like, they're not something that you charge. It's not the top 0.1% of fractional CMOs charge this. And they're not rates you get because you've got X number of years of experience or you've worked with so-and-so. These are very, very common rates for fractional CMO packages. And I want to speak to something because if hearing these numbers brings up resistance or thoughts like, oh my God, I could never charge that, or nobody would ever pay me that. Remember, you are not aiming for the top of the market. You're aiming for the middle. And you can always grow into these rates. You don't necessarily have to come out the gate charging $15K if that feels uncomfortable for you. If you want to get a couple reps in and start to build the confidence of, okay, I can do this, and then increase your rates over time, that is absolutely doable as well. So let's zoom out for a minute. Everything we've talked about, the mindset, the role, the scope, the clients, it all leads to a 6-figure fractional CMO business, which comes from operating at the right level with the right clients. When you stay in strategic leadership and you price based on responsibility, not hours, not deliverables, and you choose clients who are actually ready for a CMO, the entire model starts to work the way it's designed to. If any of those things are missing, that's when it starts to fall apart and feel really unsustainable. You get to earn 6 figures easily, almost effortlessly if you really love what you do, which I do. I pinch myself daily thinking, I can't believe this is what I get to do, and work does not feel like work. So if this episode brought some awareness for you about where you've been underpricing your experience or where you might be kind of missing the mark here as far as who you're targeting, who you're working with, how you're positioning yourself, etc., maybe the work that you're doing, or maybe you're realizing, okay, I'm actually building my business from a smaller version of myself. That is okay. It happens to all of us. But here's what I want you to hear. If there's a version of you that feels a little bit scared right now, that is so normal. Growth feels like that. Anytime I've expanded, I've been uncomfortable. There's been fear. There's been a little bit of resistance. But the key is not letting it be in the driver's seat and to do it anyways. Because what I want you to know is that nothing I am sharing or I'm doing is reserved for a select few. I'm not special. I did not have some secret advantage. I finally decided that the level of work I was doing and responsibility I was carrying was worth more. And so are you. You are absolutely capable of this, and you would not be here if you weren't. If you want support as you step into this next level from someone who has walked this path, built this model, priced these retainers, worked with these types of clients, I would love to help you inside of Fractional CMO School. You can learn more at fractional-cmo-school.com or find the link below in the show notes. Thank you for being here today, and I will see you on the next episode of CMO School.